This full moon in Aquarius is less terrifying than the last few lunations, so that is the good news. The bad news is that this definitely reminds me of like 90s coming of age movies where the ending scene was this tragic prom night and you like know who's going to get their heart broken and that shit's gonna go down and it's just all the drama, but like you're kind of here to endure it and watch it all anyway. Yeah, all the drama. Sigh. If you are excited to dive into what the astrology holds for this full moon in Aquarius, along with a little bit of tarot insight at the end, make sure that you like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you are always up to date with what the stars have in store for you. Hi, I'm Maren. I am an astrologer and author, and I combine traditional Hellenistic astrology with modern psychological counseling dynamics to provide grounded guidance. This video is brought to you by BetterHelp. BetterHelp is an online counseling service providing you with licensed professional therapists certified by their state's board. Once you sign up at this link, you can be matched with a counselor in under 24 hours that you can meet with over phone, tablet, any mobile device, and speak to over text, phone call, or video chat. BetterHelp is not a crisis hotline, but they do hold group-in-our sessions every week where you can connect with other participants and members to discuss topics such as anxiety relief and relationship strategies. BetterHelp is available worldwide, so just head to the link below if you're interested in getting that checked out. Once you do head over to that link below, you'll be matched with a licensed therapist after running through a really quick sign-up process so that you really see what all you're looking for and who will be best matched with that to provide you with the counseling you're looking for. So this full moon in Aquarius is taking place on August 3rd, 2020 at 11:57 a.m. Eastern Time. So the sun is going to be at 11 degrees of Leo, opposite the moon at 11 degrees of Aquarius. Every full moon has the moon opposite the sun, and since we are in Leo season, the full moon is therefore when the moon is in Aquarius opposite the sun in Leo. This is not as hugely dramatic as other lunations that have taken place this year. It gives us a bit of a break after eclipse season because this summer, I mean, even you living under a rock would have known how dramatic this year has been. Like, there's no need for me to go over that. This is less dramatic. It's not particularly cute, but I mean, it's not alarming, and frankly, compared to everything else, like, that's pretty cute. So the sun is going to be in the second decan of Leo. The sun is the ruling planet of Leo, so the sun in Leo is in its home sign, it's in its domicile, it has a lot of resources to do very well in its own sign, and it's in the second decan of Leo, which is associated actually with the Six of Wands tarot card, and it's the Lord of Triumph. It's someone coming off of an early victory and celebrating the fruits of their labor, that it feels like an initial high point of getting something without actually putting in too much effort, which may be the exact feeling that we have right now of like, I haven't really done that much throughout this year and this summer, but like, I deserve to feel good anyway. And like, damn right you kind of do. If you made it and we made it, like, being okay with simply being is a good symbolism of this placement. However, there is the risk of like riding a tiger to power, so to speak, or turning your victory into defeat based on what you think that it means or gives you entitlement towards. It doesn't really warrant that big of a celebration, but I think that just giving ourselves space to be happy with a pat on the back of some softness and some semblance of relief here is what we need. Like, after the year we've been through, little to nothing will make us deserving of excitement right now. Like, we just kind of deserve to run with that. So, I mean, take what you can get, but don't make it into something that it's not. Opposite that, the moon is then in the second decan of Aquarius. Aquarius is a Saturn-ruled sign, but this second decan has a little bit of smidge of mercurial influence. So that this is actually called the, with this Six of Swords tarot card being associated with this decan, this inner third of Aquarius, it's called science. It's about clever problem solving and getting from point A to B. You can see on the card that it's someone getting across a river. They're ferrying their loved ones and their swords. They're taking what they need based on the tools that they're using to accomplish that. So that you're finding the exact right method to get from point A to point B in terms of how you want to feel. You are reconciling that which you know right now with where you want to get so that this full moon culmination is around themes of getting where you logically want to go, where you logically know how you want to feel, and so you're celebrating coming this far to better empower yourself to go the extra mile. This is also a very clear deck and a very clear confirmation of either seeing that we're in the right, going the right way, or that we're in the wrong, not headed the right way. And there's clarity of assessing possibilities here. So that with this full moon being a culmination, there's a performance happening with Leo. With the sun in Leo, there's a performance. And performance can be either performative or authentic. I actually talk about this on my episode that I did during the George Floyd high point of that coming out. I did something on analyzing doing better, specifically in terms of coming from a place of privilege. And I talk about how performance is always innate. Whether we're going to the grocery store or putting on a Shakespeare, we're always performing. And it's about making the performance authentic instead of performative. And so we are putting on a kind of performance around where we feel proud to be. And the audience around us is letting us know through confirmation if we're in the right place or not. We're feeling it out based on either receiving applause or boos from our metaphorical crowd. We're getting that data and that feedback, and we're putting ourselves out there to get the logical confirmation of either doing that in an aligned way or not, so that we are getting some feedback on how our performance is either performative or authentic. With this being with the sun and the moon within a degree of separation from a square from Uranus and Taurus, because Taurus is a fixed sign, so it's making this T-square with the sun, the moon, and then Uranus and Taurus, there's a compulsion here to shock or to rebel. That is the risk specifically of Uranus squares, because Uranus is the Promethean liberator, and squares prod, they encourage, and they egg on. They are uncomfortable tension to rile up against a teammate. The question to ask here is, are you performing based on being honestly passionate about where you're coming from? Or are you performing just to get a rise out of someone so that you can judge them for their reaction? Don't provoke. Be straightforward with your performance, because it's not bad to perform. In fact, you guys know I never use the word bad. My Libra moon is there's binaries or bullshit, but performativity is not useful generally. It just leads to more guises and more fraudulence and more entanglement. But if we can perform authentically and gauge our environmental compatibility based on that, that can be of use for seeing how we actually liberate and catalyze people to maybe come out and be a bit triggered when we're ourselves, but that's not on us then. And if you already know where in your chart this is falling based on Aquarius Leo axis in your chart, let me know in a comment down below if you already know what areas of life this is happening for you. If you have not already checked out your monthly forecast based on your rising sign, where I let you know where this is happening, you can check that out as well, so that you get a bit of a taste of where this might be showing up for you and your rising sign. Alongside this, Mercury is still in Cancer, and Mercury is exactly opposite Saturn and Capricorn for the second lunation. There was a lunation back in July where Mercury was opposite Saturn, and this is, again, this polarizing nature to communication, that things are so fucking polarized. I know that's said a lot, but in the astrology itself, we are acting so emotionally charged based on pretending that we have no emotional investment in what we believe. Hindrances in saying what we want are indicated here. Self-consciousness around feeling very, very censored is what this is indicating. Censorship is written all over this lunation, of feeling like it's coming out how censored we are all feeling. Or maybe I'm filming this in June because I film far ahead so that I can edit and get things up and coming. I was talking about the riots before I even knew that those were coming. I was talking about that months earlier, about civil unrest. So I think right now there's going to be, I'm saying this in June about what I think is going to happen in early August, is being censorship or news media violations of free speech being a more prominent theme. So if I called it, I called it. Also, we're seeing how far that we can get with making a point under the radar because we know that we're being censored, so we can't say what we really mean. And words are really potent right now. There's lots of boundaries being drawn in the sand ideologically of like who our team is, even though that's such a fucked way to think about it. This is how I get the dramatic prom scene movie ending vibe, because it's so shock filled with like the Leo sun and the squares from Uranus with the moon in Aquarius, who's like, I am in the corner, like dude, just watching. And then Mercury in Cancer opposing Saturn is just so like, I don't even know, prom queen throwing a fit. Also, Venus in Gemini is conjunct the north node of the moon, Rahu. So Venus is still fucking in Gemini. Venus has been in Gemini for 25 years at this point. She's direct, but I mean, there's still a huge emotional investment in what we're pouring out right now. We can pretend that we're being logical, but we are so emotionally invested in being on like the right side of whatever the hell we're on. We're highly attached to these ideas, and there's an inflated obsession around what we feel is accurate data. There is so much polarization that there's no way for something not to be heavily slanted and biased. So I'm not going to tell you to remain neutral because at this point that's pointless, but remain open to changing your mind in the presence of new information. Mars, also in Aries, is receiving an exact superior square from Jupiter in Capricorn. This is a case of bonification, and Jupiter is in its fall, so it's not giving that much bonification, aka helpful beneficence, but Mars is at home in Aries. Mars doesn't really need poor Jupiter's help. Like, Jupiter is the host of, or Mars can take care of itself because Mars is its own host. It doesn't really need Jupiter's help, but like Jupiter's trying to help it. So generally this would be a good aspect. Generally Jupiter overcoming Mars in a square is like, yes, our ego and our assertiveness is being helped out by blessings and like benefactors, but be wary of being extremely passionate to tear someone down because you think it's the heroic thing to do for like your team. So release. Full moons are all about release, and I think releasing assumptions, taking the data and release assumptions that don't align up with that data. Don't calculate someone's demise. Don't either literally or metaphorically hex someone during this time. It's not the time to play with fire. If you feel the need to shock, pull it back to what you're trying to get out of shocking and interrogate and release those habits. So with that being said, let's pull a tarot card to see what tarot card comes up for this full moon. We have Judgment. Judgment's this is associated with Libra. It is scales, it is weighing things out and reaping what you sow. So I think that we're getting feedback here. We are getting feedback on if we were reaping or sowing in the right direction, not poorly or well, but getting feedback. Judgment, that's what we're getting back from the universe here. Finally, let's pull a Law of Attraction card for a bit of Law of Attraction guidance for this full moon. I want continual joyous growth. I am a growth-seeking being, and it is exhilarating to remember that expansion is not only natural, but inevitable. I love knowing that joy is simply a choice, so since my expansion is inevitable, I choose to have it and enjoy. As structures fall apart around you, can you see the joy in that? Like, that's weird as hell to say, but can you see how joyous it is for relationships and structures to fall away that don't serve you so that you can have more room to have the pure joy in you? Because I think that the performances are going to unlock a lot of what doesn't align with that to fall away during this time. So if you enjoyed this and you want to get a private reading from me, you can check that down below. Otherwise, like, subscribe, do all of the things, and let me know also in a comment if you have any thoughts that are coming up for you during this full moon time. Sending so much love, and I will see you in the next one.
But there is one thing you're all forgetting, that endless morning will turn to night, and when you